Welcome back to the Cabbage Patch. I'm Dad.
I'm Tommy. I'm Gus.
And today, what did we play?
Space Hulk.
Space Hulk. Space Hulk's a really old game. It's one of my favorite games from when I was much younger. And it is a game about space marines and aliens where the space marines find a derelict spaceship
And they find out that it's chock full.
of aliens.
Yeah.
Right. And their goal, depending on how the mission is set up, and the way that missions get set up, is they're put together with these puzzle pieces for the map that do different things, right? So your map can be different depending on the scenario, but usually there's an objective. In the case of our first game, we played the very first mission, which was called Suicide Mission, where our Space Marines had to get to this room over here. There was a whole bunch more here, and we apologize that our first playthrough we forgot to plug the microphone in, so there was no sound. Our Space Marines were supposed to get from way down here to way up here and blow up this room. And then if they blew up the room, they succeeded.
Yeah.
So the basics of the gameplay are, we've got two sides, right? And it's supposed to be a two-player game, but we managed to do it with three because Gus and Tommy split up the bad guys, split up the aliens, which was probably actually pretty fair, right? So your Marines get 4 action points. So an action point can be move your Marine. It can be move and fire at a door or something, right? And when a Marine fires his machine gun, it's also called a bolter, right? He rolls 2 dice, right? And if he gets a 6,
that's a double, which means it's...
That's a double, which means his bolter jammed, and he's going to have to spend an action point to unjam it.
Yeah.
But if you got a 6, then the door would go away, and he could keep moving, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, and doing something called go into Overwatch. What does Overwatch mean? Do you remember?
If anything comes into its line of sight, no matter how far away, he gets to shoot at it.
Right. So this Gene Stealer right here, we're here, and moved into his line of sight. The Marine would get a free shot at it, and it would get a free shot every time he moved. Still didn't. So he needs a 6 on these 2 dice in order to get it. And then once the Gene Stealer was right next to the Marine, what can the Gene Stealer do?
He can attack and roll 3 dice.
3 dice, right? He can roll 3 dice. Go ahead and it's right there in the camera. There you go. Right? And then he picks the highest. You don't get to re-roll. Right? Take these 2. And then the Space Marine, because he doesn't have 4 arms, only rolls 1 dice. And
in this case, he wins.
Got
and
a
the
6.
Gene Stealer gets blasted.
Exactly. So it's a winner-take-all kind of dice thing. There's no hit points. There's no survival, right? It's either you win or you lose. Or you tie. And I think when you tie, it means that you don't die.
And they just kind of stand around looking at each other awkwardly.
Right. Until the next time that somebody gets an opportunity to attack. So the Marines get to move. They get to move. They move slower. The Gene Stealers move really fast.
With an action point total of 6 rather than the Marines 4.
Exactly. So the Gene Stealers get to move 6 spaces or 6 actions every time they take a turn. And each turn, more and more of these blips appear on the edge of the map and start moving towards the bad guys at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So they keep moving more. You keep drawing more and more of these tokens, and these tokens only look like 1. But underneath, what happens?
Well, that is 1. That's also 1. That is a 3. It can hold anywhere from 1 to 3 models.
Right. So the good guys don't know that right. The good guys don't know anything about what's over here. Right. My good guys here. Right here. How many could this be?
3.
1, 2, or 3.
Yep.
And it keeps moving towards until it crosses the line of sight of the Marine, in which case then it turns over and it turns into
1 to 3 dudes.
1 to 3 dudes. Put it there. Right? So it's really tense. The maps are pretty big. Our introductory map barely fit on this table. The game didn't take very long. It was pretty easy to learn. We only made a couple of rules mistakes because Daddy hadn't played it in a really long time. I bought this game in I think 1992 or 1991 or 1990. It was a really long time ago. It's one of my favorite games.
Yeah.
What's the most important rule to remember, Gus?
Two actually. One for both.
Mm-hmm.
Both sides.
One for the aliens, you can move diagonally.
They can move diagonally, so they can go 1, 2.
And for the Marines, they can do something special that I forgot.
Okay. Well, when you remember it, you'll tell us. What about you, Thomas?
You can look at the blips. It's when they're blips.
Right.
Only the Gene Stealer player though.
So you got a pool of these blips that you can draw from, and when the Gene Stealer player draws a blip, they look at it, and then they can say, okay, I want that blip to appear down here, or down here, or somewhere else on the board at an entryway. Because what you're trying to do is fake the Marine out. So this could be 1, 2, or 3. If it's 3, I'm having a bad day. If it's 1, I might be able to survive. Right? So what did you like about this game?
Just the sheer happiness when you kill a Marine.
Okay.
Same.
Yeah. Agate plays a lot like a video game. It's pretty fast. You don't know what's going on, and it's really hard for the good guys.
Yeah, because the bad guys are just have a bucket full of.
I basically have infinite lives, right?
They can just dump all of the aliens onto your 5 space Marines.
That's right. What did you? Is there anything you didn't like about the game?
No, not many.
So if we look at this game, when I bought it a long time ago,
I
came with
don't like how powerful the flamethrower is.
flamethrower is powerful, but what's its disadvantage?
It only has limited
It
ammo.
only has 6 shots. So when I first bought this game, these are what the Marine figures look like. They're these little plastic guys. I played a game called Warhammer 40K, which is set in the same universe, and I bought a bunch of these pewter figures. So here is a pewter Space Marine. Here's a plastic Space Marine. And in later versions of the game, which you can still buy on eBay and whatnot, the Space Marines were also plastic, but they looked
Better.
like this. So your 1989, 1988, 1990, whenever this was, on the left, it's a really simple Space Marine, and then a very intricate, pretty well painted Space Marine in plastic, versus my hand painted pewter figures.
Who also look really good.
They do look pretty good, from also about 1990-ish, 1990, 1991. So the game can be played with any of the figures from the last 25, 30 years. The Gene Stealers in the original set were plastic. You had to glue them together. I hand painted these, and then I got bored after a while, and I hand painted them a little less well, so they were just black with a little white on them. But you could get into this game a lot and spend a lot of money and spend a lot of time painting it. So that's the rules, right? You pay attention to how much ammunition your flamethrower guy has.
And try to conserve it so you can
Try to
get
conserve
to
it so you can win to that, but so not all the missions need it, right? Pay attention to moving diagonally and pay attention to spending your things. Also, the Marines get these things called command points, which are extra points that they can spend on moving their figures that we forgot to do during our playthrough.
Yeah, and I think it might have cost.
It might have impacted my ability to win that game. You're absolutely right. So, I think we've covered all. We've talked about the rules we need to remember. We've talked about what we liked, what we didn't like. Did we like the game?
Yep.
Yeah? Did you like it a lot?
Yeah.
Okay. How many cabbages, Gus?
2.
2?
3.
3. It is one of my favorite games, so I have to give it 3. So that gives it 8 cabbages. And it is an awesome game. If you can find a copy of it or have a friend that has a copy of it, I suggest you play it. It plays pretty quick. We got through it in about half an hour or 40 minutes. You can make even bigger maps, which end up being on the living room floor instead of on a table, and end up taking a little longer. But it's quick, it's easy to learn, and other than it being very expensive to find second on the used market, it's an awesome game and everybody should play it. Do you want to do the outro, Gus?
First, you spent much time on this figure.
Yeah, I did.
But subscribe, like, hit that bell. Leave
Subscribe,
a
like,
comment
and hit
if
that
you
bell.
Like. Leave a comment if you like. You play the Cabbages, not us. So.
Eat plenty of cabbages, but not you. All right. Well, in that case, I think we're done. And this time we actually had audio instead of me forgetting to plug the microphone in. So we didn't. We had to do it again, and now we've done it.
Bye.
You done it good.
See you later.
See you guys later. Thank you.